The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisperer in Darkness. I'm your host, the Man from Leng. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this stream, we are playing The Boundary Beyond with Roland Banks and Joe Diamond. We are continuing their adventures through the Forgotten Age campaign. We had a fairly good run through Threads of Fate up until the very end on Monday when we unfortunately drew a couple of words of power right when we were trying to deal with the Brotherhood Cultist. The Brotherhood Cultist is difficult to deal with at the best of times, and having to deal with him with a couple of words of power in our threat areas was not easy. So I am hoping that we will make a better showing here today against the Boundary Beyond. Unfortunately, the Boundary Beyond is one of the tougher scenarios in the Forgotten Age campaign. I have struggled to get a very good result against it, and I have not played it two-handed before, so this... You're hearing me twice. Okay, I think I know the reason for that. Let me... Alright, how's that? That should be better. Alright. So we are going to... we're going to kick this off. Yeah, Boundary Beyond is one of the tougher scenarios. And I've never had a very good result against it. And I am hoping that we will be able to put up a decent result. I think what we basically want to do is just try to get to 3 locations cleared, and then just hang on until the end. But we shall see. Let's see how we do here. First off, I would like to thank the patrons for their great support of the channel. These are the people who are bringing you this type of content, and I'm greatly appreciative of their support. We are trying to hit $100 in our Patreon by the end of August, so we can get started on getting some fresh art and getting that Man from Leng custom card made, so we can get that out to people. So if you would like to support the channel, I'll leave a link in the chat, and you can head over to Patreon and choose the tier that you would like, and go from there. I'd love to have your support. We are set up, and actually we need to look at our decks. They did not change that much from Threads of Fate. Roland earned 3 experience points during that scenario, and he had saved 3 from the Doom of Estley, so we ended up getting that stick to the plan into our deck. That should help us out a little bit, and that was the only change that we made. Unfortunately, Joe Diamond drew his signature weakness right at the end of the scenario, which of course means that he will have he earned 2 less experience points, and now so he only ended up with 1, and I simply decided to save that for another day, and we'll see if we can't pick up something after the Boundary Beyond, as long as we do okay. I think the reason he probably had the signature weakness works that way is he probably doesn't need a whole lot of help. He's already a pretty strong investigator, so missing out on a few experience points isn't going to set him back as much as it might another investigator in the game who needs a lot of those big expensive upgrades to be effective. Here is the summary of the campaign so far. During the interlude, we needed to pick up some more supplies, so Roland now has provisions, 2 cans of gasoline, medicine, torches, the pendant, and a pickaxe. Joe Diamond has provisions, medicine, a blanket, binoculars, chalk, and we decided to pick up the compass. Both investigators suffered 1 physical trauma after the Untamed Wilds. We cleared the path to the Estley ruins. Alejandro followed us. We defeated Ichtaka, so she is wary of us. We did recover the Relic of Ages, but unfortunately we were unable to we gave it to Alejandro before Threads of Fate, and we were unable to recover it then. So the relic is now missing. And we came very close to finishing the 2 of the Act decks. Unfortunately, that Brotherhood Cultist prevented us from clearing Ichtaka's narrative, so Ichtaka is in the dark, which has some serious impact on this game, because we will start the game with 2 fewer cards in our hand, so we will only have 3 cards each to start, which makes a difference where you decide to start this particular scenario. The Harbinger of Velusia, who will make his return in this scenario, has 2 damage on him. So we will need to deal with him once again, and there is 5 tally marks under Yig's Fury. All right, we are set up and ready to go now. This is a fantastic hat. I have to say this. When I was on vacation, I was in a small town on the East Coast that celebrates every year. They celebrate a Squid Fest. I think it's just a Cthulhu-oriented ceremony in disguise. Anyway, everybody gets to wear these fantastic squid hats, and some of the nicer ones have tentacles that light up. So it's quite a scene as everybody is out dancing at the neighborhood party with these outlandish squid hats on their heads. They come in various colors. My son was lucky enough to win this one, so this is I guess a special edition squid hat. I'm sure Cthulhu gave his stamp of approval for this one. And just to note, the actual town we were in reminded me a lot of what Kingsport looks like, sort of in the stories, as well as the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. It has the same sort of structure to the town as Kingsport is described at. It even has a mountain just off the bay. There is no Kingsport head, unfortunately, with a door leading to other dimensions. There is simply a cross on the hill, but nonetheless, it was a very had a bit of a Cthulhu experience while I was on vacation. So we're going to wear the hat in honor of that, and it's I see it's not really showing up. It's got a nice big top part, so hopefully my capture cam will pick it up. And the other thing I just wanted to mention quickly is I think I resolved my connection issues. I found out we had some difficulty with the stream last week, or on Monday, and I realized that Restream had simply decided to connect to some server halfway across the country for some reason, rather than the one that's right next door. So that was probably the reason behind the drop frames. We are set up. We need to go get some cards for Stick to the Plan, so we get 3 different tactic or supply events for Roland, so we will go look up those. We want an emergency cache. We can get a prepared for the worst, and what's the other one we want? Tactic or supply. Do we have any other? Oh, we've got a shortcut. That might be worthwhile. What else do we have here? I think the shortcut might be our best bet. At least we know we'll have one of them in our hand, and we can play it if necessary. So I think we'll take the shortcut, and we will save that until as long as we can. I think we want to be able to play it at a very effective time when we absolutely have to move. So as we know, Roland Banks has... Yeah, I haven't included Studious in the deck yet, where it is a very good card. Unfortunately, we are still trying to earn some experience points to purchase some of these more expensive cards. Studious will set us back 3 to 6 experience points, and with Roland or with Joe falling behind last time, it'll be we're going to need to pick up the slack in this one. Both investigators have 1 physical trauma. Both of them are poisoned, which may or may not. I believe it may have an effect because we did have to add the serpent encounter set to the encounter deck for this one. Both of them have a copy of Charisma, and Joe has his higher education. That will be a little more difficult to trigger in this game right off the bat because we are starting with only 3 cards in our opening hand. We have the setup here. We're going to start in Zakalo. It's a 3 shroud location with 0 clues. We can discard cards with a total combined cost of at least 5 from our hand. That's not going to be. We're not going to be doing that right away. My plan is to head to Zokamilko first because that is the place that uses resources, and because we rescued Alejandro, we start the game with 2 additional resources. So we get 7 resources off the bat. So we'll be spending some of those at Zokamilko to get ourselves hopefully to explore quickly and get a move on. We are going to need some weapons. There are some nasty enemies in this particular scenario, and we will need to also investigate very efficiently in order to try to speed things up. I think we're ready to draw our opening hands, such as they are. We only get 3 cards apiece, so let's see how we do. Yeah, this is a very hard scenario, John. Very rarely have I done well at it. So we end up with our weakness, so we mulligan that. We end up with a Vicious Blow, a Machete, and an Overpower. I'm going to mulligan the Vicious Blow and the Overpower. We get another Overpower, of course, and a Logical Reasoning. So that's not going to be immediately helpful, maybe helpful later in the game. Joe and Roland both not great in the sanity department, only 5 and 6 apiece. So that may come in handy. Not what I want to see in my opening hand, though. Let's shuffle up Joe's deck. Joe gets an Unexpected Courage, Eureka, and his Detective Colt 1911s. We're going to mulligan the Eureka and the Unexpected Courage. There we get Death 13. That's going to start in play, and another copy of Eureka. So not too bad for Joe. We did get a weapon, and we did get our death card out. So he will start with an intellect of 5 rather than 4. So that's awfully nice. So that Detective Colt 1911s is going to cost us 4 resources. So that is going to be fairly pricey. We are going to need, I think each of the investigators will need a weapon. I think we need both of them to be in fighting shape. And I think we're ready to start. So, everybody's got their 3 actions. I believe we will play, Roland is going to play the Machete first off for 3 resources. And then he is going to move down to Zokamilko. And Zokamilko, hi Ben, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. We just got started with the Boundary Beyond. We started with 3 cards in our hands, so we will need to build up that a little bit as we play. So while we are at Zokamilko, we cannot gain resources. And we can spend 3 resources to explore and draw the top card of the exploration deck. So I believe Roland is going to do that now. as his final action, we will explore and see if we can't get a flying start here. We will shuffle up the exploration deck. We are looking for the... And we got it. Okay, so second card into the exploration deck, we find our location. This is Lake Zokomilko. It's a 4-shroud location with 4 clues on it. And after it enters play, each investigator at this location takes 1 direct horror. Ouch, that certainly hurts poor Roland. And while we are investigating Lake Zokomilko, if you have 3 or fewer remaining sanity, it gets -2 shroud. We do not have 3 or fewer sanity, so we are not going to get the shroud benefit here. But that's a nice start for Roland to set up Joe to move in there this turn. I think we will not need to... we won't need to explore there again as long as we don't end up with some nasty effect. So let's play... Joe will play the Detective Colt. 1911s. It has 4 ammo. And that will be his first action. Second action, he will move down here. Third action, I think we're going to use our Eureka on this test. So we are going to go 4, 5, 6 versus 4. Let's see how the Chaos Bag is going to be this game. Chaos Bag gives us a -1 to start off. So that is... that will be a success. We get to look at the top 3 cards of our deck. Oh, we need to draw. Of course, we need to draw for Joe's Hunch deck. Let's do that now. That might... we get a Preposterous Sketches. Oh, that's awfully tempting. So we could go back since we didn't know we had that. We could draw the... yeah, let's go back. We would play that for free for sure to draw 3 cards, I think. So we will not investigate. We'll simply draw the 3 cards. So we get a Eureka, a Magnifying Glass. We've got a Eureka still, Magnifying Glass, 45 automatic, and a Machete. And we played that Preposterous Sketches for free due to... does it advance after the first... oh, it does advance. Okay. Obviously, I haven't played this one in a long time. So we successfully... after the first Tenochtitlan location enters play by exploring, we advance. So let's do that now. We are into the past. The investigator who just put a Tenochtitlan location into play by exploring successfully must test willpower 4. If she fails, she must search the collection for a random basic madness or injury weakness and shuffle it into her deck. So that is going to be Roland. Roland needs to pass a 4. Now, do we go with the logical reasoning, or do we... hi, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. We need to start... So we could be 5 versus 4. I really don't want a weakness, because that's for the remainder of the campaign. So we're going to go 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Sign. Nice. And that's going to be +4. So we... Roland does pass that willpower test and does not have to add a madness or injury weakness to his deck. Okay, so now we advance to Act 2A, Past or Present. So we need to find the path to the Nexus by discovering all of the clues from as many different Tenochtitlan locations as you can before time runs out. If there are 6 Tenochtitlan locations in play with no clues on them, we get to advance. That's a very high bar to clear, unfortunately. So Joe moved. He played his gun, he moved, then we played the Preposterous Sketches. So I believe he is done for this turn. Yes, indeed he is. Okay, so I am going to lock our investigators because they don't gain resources here. And we will advance to the upkeep phase. And Roland draws a beat cop. That is nice to see. Yeah, it's that's for the campaign too. I mean, if you add a weakness there, you're adding it for the campaign, and that's bad news. Joe, he draws take the initiative, so we have a big booster there in case he needs to pass a skill test during the Mythos phase. He also has now 5 cards in his hand, so higher education is turned on. However, we are going to the Mythos phase, 1 of 8. We need to draw some encounter cards. Roland is first, as always, and he will draw the Fang of Yig. His prey is poisoned investigators. But that doesn't matter. He's got Retaliate, and while he is engaged with a poison investigator, that investigator cannot play cards or commit cards to skill tests. So we are going to have to kill this guy without any help. Fortunately, he is only a 3 cost. He's only got 3 fight and 3 health. Now, Roland may not be able to commit cards, but Joe certainly can on his behalf. Let's see what Joe gets. Yeah, I'm not playing Taboo. This is just straight up regular. This scenario is hard enough without playing Taboo. We get timeline destabilization. We get to test 1 willpower. This test gets +1 difficulty for each ancient location in play, so it's going to be a 2. If we fail, we take a damage and a horror, and we shuffle timeline destabilization into the exploration deck. Don't want to do that either, so he is going to commit that take the initiative for those 3 juicy icons. So he will be at 5 versus 2. So I think that might be enough. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has to say. We get a skull. That is a -3 if you are at an ancient location. So we just skate by on that one, thanks to the help of Take the Initiative. We do not add that nasty treachery into the exploration deck, which makes every exploration that much more difficult. Okay, so that was the Mythos phase. So far, so good. We will get our 3 actions. Roland will need to try to kill this guy. This guy has Retaliate, but he does have 5... Roland, I have Stick to the Plan in play, if that's what you're... Oh, my head slot. That is my hat. That is my amazing hat that I picked up at a Squid Fest that I attended on vacation. Hi, CryoShark. Welcome to the stream. This is my the hat that I picked up at a Squid Fest. I think it's a Cthulhu-oriented festival. Any festival that involves squid in various ways has to be Cthulhu related in some way, and so I am wearing this crazy hat in honor of that. As I mentioned at the start of the show, the really nice hats, they actually light up. The tentacles, these tentacles here have lights in them that you can trigger. So it's quite a scene. No, unfortunately, it doesn't give me bonus XP in any way whatsoever. It's merely ornamental in this case. We are going to play... Roland is going to attack. He has 5 combat versus 3. Yes, that's exactly right. The hat is what you get is a reward from getting R2. Nice call, Ben, there. We are going to go 5 versus 3. Let's see if we can't kill this thing. Chaos Bag gives us... Ooh, that's a bad one. That's a -4, and if you fail, place 1 clue from the token pool on the nearest ancient location. So we get another clue here. and the Fang retaliates. So that is a bad pull. We will have to do it again. Let's see if we can't kill this guy. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Tentacle. So 2 fails back to back. And we get... so now Roland has gone from being... We had a very good first turn, and we have had an absolutely miserable second turn. Because Roland cannot kill this thing this turn. Do we have anything? We only have a machete that we can pitch to it, and the cards that we have drawn, so the tokens we have drawn so far from the Chaos Bag would not have helped us. So we are going to take another damage and horror this turn. Roland is, unless we deal with that Fang. If Roland attacks again and misses, well, we've got to kill it. So one of them has to kill it. Let's see how we do this time. We get a tablet. That's a reveal another token. And if you fail and there is a serpent enemy at your location, it attacks you. So to me, that's a double attack, because it will attack once for retaliate and once for that. So we're going to have to reveal another token. This could be the end of the game for Roland right here. Let us look at the top card of the... And we get a 0. Okay, so we dodged a huge bullet right there. That could have been the end of the game right there for Roland. So the Fang will take 2 damage. Unfortunately, it is still alive, and we will have to... I think Joe is going to have to engage it and take it out with his gun if he can. So we will move. Joe will engage the Fang of Yig as his first action. As his second action, he will attempt to shoot it with his we need to draw for his thing first. So we get, there's another Preposterous Sketches. We might play that for free as well, just to get the cards here, because we're going to have to deal with this guy if we kill him this turn. If we kill him, because we're using the Detective Colts, we would get to move an Insight event from our discard pile to the bottom of our Hunch deck, and then we could play that Preposterous Sketches again. So we're just going to have to take a shot. Let's see how we do. We are going 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -3. So no luck for us this round. Just a dreadful turn of events. We did have an overpower that we probably should have committed to that, but too little too late. So we are going to take damage and a horror from the Retaliate, and then we're going to take another damage and a horror during the enemy phase. So that was probably one of the worst turns I have had in this game in a very long time. The Roland is near death, and Joe has taken a pile of damage and horror this turn. So we are going to have to do better next turn. Roland draws his 38 special, and Joe draws a Steadfast. So we will see what the next Mythos phase brings. It feels like this game has already turned on a dime for us. Preposterous Sketches goes back in. And we are on the next Mythos phase. 2 of 8. Let's see what we get. Roland draws the Snake Scourge. If we are poisoned, it gains Surge. So we will draw another card. And we get Arrows from the Trees. We take 1 damage plus 1 additional damage for each ally. And each other investigator at an ancient location must also resolve this effect. Wow, the encounter deck is just crushing us at the moment here. I think it's the hat. I think I'm wearing the hat, and Cthulhu has seen that I'm wearing the hat, and he is somehow, with his powers, manipulating the encounter deck and Chaos Bag to show me his true power, because that's the only explanation I have here for the absolute drubbing I'm taking right at the moment. So 4 damage on both of our investigators, and that will be that. And we haven't even drawn a card for Joe, which is going to be Window to Another Time. We must choose to choose and shuffle an ancient location back into the exploration deck. That is not a good idea. And place 1 doom on the current agenda. I think we will be doing that. We need to preserve those. We need to preserve those locations as much as we can. Glad to see that the stream health is right back on. We're doing well as far as stream health goes. So hopefully you guys are not experiencing any issues. Despite the Cthulhu hat, I know. Well, that's turn 3. We're going into we are on turn 3, and we are already against the ropes. Joe is going to go first, I think, this time, because we need to kill this. We need to kill the Fang, and I think when we do that, Roland can commit cards to, I believe. Yeah, so the Fang of Yig only cares if he's engaged with you. So Roland is going to throw a card to this test for Joe. We are going to go... Joe needs to draw for his there's his weakness. Okay. So we will not be able to get rid of that. Place one of your clues on the location with the highest shroud. That would be our location, but we would need to spend 4 resources, and we cannot gain resources here at Zokamilko. So the combos are flying fast and furious here. So that is very unfortunate. Looks like even if we gained experience this game, we are not going to get. Joe is not going to get any. But Joe has a job to do here. He needs to kill this Fang. He is going to shoot it. He is getting 5, 6, 7 versus 3. That still is not enough to take out that -5 out of the bag. And that may spell doom for us. Let's see. Chaos Bag gives us another tablet. This tablet is just... miserable. If you fail and there's a serpent enemy at your location, it attacks you. So he could take a double attack here if we don't succeed. Let's take a look and see what the top of the Chaos Bag is. It is a skull. So that's going to be a -3. So I believe we do succeed. 5, 6, 7 versus 3. We do. Whew. Okay. Oh, right. That's right, Ben. Okay. I forgot about that. I forgot that it also applies to his weakness. So that actually, we did kill the Fang. And because we killed an enemy, we can move an insight event from our discard pile to the bottom of our hunch deck. So let's look at that. So we will put the preposterous sketches on the bottom. So we're going to need a clue. And then we're going to need to put the clue back. Okay, so what we could do... we could... we can actually, we need 2 resources. So our choice is we can boost our skill test with higher education for 1. That would put us at 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 4. So we're going to investigate 7 versus 4. Do we play 7 versus 4 is only 3. Does he have anything? No, he doesn't. You can play unsolved. You can play unsolved case without a clue? Really? No, that doesn't sound right to me, because you need to... You're not changing the game state. To me, it's, yeah, that is weird, because to me it's just like you're not if you're not spending a clue, you haven't changed the game state on Joe, so you can't play the card. That would be how I would look at it, but okay, well, if you say that I can play it without a clue, then I will, I guess I'll take advantage of that. We'll spend the 2 resources. Okay, well, yeah, I guess that's true. So we will remove his unsolved case from the game for 2 resources. We can get our resource back, actually, that we spent on higher education, and now we can simply somebody needs to draw a card here. Yeah, Roland needs to draw a card for the overpower, and he gets fieldwork. Not a great choice for this particular scenario. Yeah, I really want to like fieldwork, but it just doesn't seem to pan out as often as I would like. So he's treating everything as blank, so that's fine. So we're just going to investigate. We have 1 action left we can investigate. We are going 4, 5 versus 4. I think we are going to actually spend... we can... so we're going to shuffle this back in anyway, so we might as well do that now. Okay, so we could play the magnifying glass for free, which gets us a 1, or we can pay... I don't know, I think we want to play the magnifying glass because it gives us a better ratio. We're going to get more icons out of it in the long run than higher education, because we can't gain resources here. So we are going to go up to 6 versus 4 for our investigation attempt. Chaos Bag says 0, so we do gain a clue. Okay, maybe we have weathered the initial storm here. So Roland has the Snake Scourge, so non-weakness items are all blank. The lake is connected to Zocalo and Koyakan. So we could move him away because he's not gaining any resources here. And then we could gain some resources and play our beat cop. Yeah, let's do that. So we will move up to Koyakan. Koyakan, 2-shroud location. Take a damage in a horror and explore. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Let's play as our second action, we're going to play the emergency cash off of Stick to the Plan for 3 resources. And then we're going to play our beat cop. Alright, so we have a little bit of a buffer now. or Roland took a beating there against that Fang of Yig. But now we have another, he is up to 5 combat, or 6 combat, sorry. So hopefully that will pay off for him. We can also fetch another weapon with Prepared for the Worst, and we've got a free move still with Shortcut. I think that is all. I can unlock Roland now because he is free to go. And we will move on to the upkeep phase. Roland draws an art student. That can help us gain a clue. And what did... Joe draws his second copy of Machete. Okay. So we move on. 4 out of 8 in the Mythos phase. The Snake Scourge goes away. And what happened here? There we go. Okay, 4 of 8 in the Mythos phase. Let's see. Roland's first encounter card is the Serpent of Tenochtitlan. While it is at an ancient location with clues on it, it gains Retaliate and Alert. Otherwise, it gains Hunter. After the Serpent deals damage to you, if you are not poisoned, you are poisoned. So he will engage Roland. I don't believe he goes anywhere. We are not at an ancient location, so it does not gain Retaliate and Alert. It is a Hunter, though, but it's with Roland, so that's fine. Whew, glad it doesn't have Retaliate. We can't take many more hits than that. The 45 automatic 2 would be sweet, obviously, in this particular scenario with that Retaliate from the Fang. Let's see how Joe does. Joe gets the Serpent's Call. You must either choose one, put a set-aside poison weakness into play in your threat area, or draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. We cannot place a poison weakness in play, so we are going to draw 2 cards more. So we're going to see 3 cards off the encounter deck this turn. Number 1 is the Hand of the Brotherhood. We spawn him at an empty location. After the last clue is discovered from an ancient location, if he is ready, we place a doom on him. While the Hand of the Brotherhood is ready, action and reaction abilities on its location and connecting locations cannot be triggered. I am going to put this at Kapultepec Park, because after we finish with this Serpent of Tenochtitlan, Roland will head over there and kill that thing. Card number 2 is a Tear in Time. Test 3 willpower. For each point you fail by, you must either lose 1 action or take 1 horror. Okay, so we are a 2. So we're 2 versus 3 currently. We have no resources, so we cannot use a higher education. Do we have 5 or more, or do we have 10 or more remaining health and sanity? We are at, probably not. We have 8. So this Steadfast is only going to be worth 2 willpower skill icons. But we will pitch it. We may also want to pitch the... I don't want to take any more horror, so we're going to have to commit the Steadfast and the Eureka to this. So we will go 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag says another 0, so we do pass. No horror for us. We weathered that storm, and we do get to look for a card. Top 3 cards. We have the choice between our weakness, a Pathfinder, and a deduction. I am going to grab that deduction for sure. That will be very nice to have. All right. Well, we weathered that mythos phase. It seems like each turn here, a ton of stuff is happening, and we got hit pretty hard at the beginning, and now we are trying our best to make some headway. Joe can deduce a couple clues, and then he could grab 2 more, and then we can leave this place. And Roland needs to kill the serpent. So let's take care of this serpent first off. Roland will use his first action. He is going 6 versus 3. Do we have anything? Or no, yeah, we're going to have to do it this way. We do have Roland's 38 special to commit, but I think 6 versus 3 will have to do. Chaos Bag says another 0. So after a rough turn there, where we drew like -3 tentacle, -4, something like that, we've drawn a string of good ones. So the serpent will take 2 damage. We can always ping him for 1 damage, so we can take another action. We will go 6 versus 3 again. Chaos Bag, there's that -5, so that will not do. Not enough there. We will take a 3rd action. I really do want to kill this guy, so we are going to go commit the 38 special at this point. We're going to go 6, 7, 8 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0 there. And then we will exhaust the Beat Cop to deal the 5th point of damage, and we will add him to the victory display. Okay. The Serpent of Tenochtitlan has been taken care of. Now we need to deal with Roland, or Joe here, sorry. Joe needs to draw from his hunch deck. We get a Scene of the Crime. Okay, so we can play that. Play only as your first action. Discover a clue at your location. 2 clues. Well, we might as well play it for free. So we will get a clue. Be nice if we had 2 clues, but that's fine. We will take an action to go 4, 5, 6 versus 4, 7 versus 4 with the deduction. Chaos Bag gives us another 0. Lots of zeros, so we gain 2 clues there. And we will go, we have 1 more action remaining, so we might as well try to clear this location, and we will go 6 versus 4 again. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. Hi, Lucas. Yes, it is a nightmare. Glad you could make this stream. This is a nightmare scenario. I rarely do very well at it. And we had a very rough beginning. But we have stabilized somewhat, I would say, and we have finally cleared our first ancient location. Now, the question is where the next ancient location is going to come from, because taking damage in horror is not going to work. We could go to Zakalo and discard cards, but that's going to be... We need a combined cost of 5, which is not going to be that easy. Joe could do it. Roland cannot. Kapultepec Park, I believe you need to take willpower skill tests. That is not going to be very helpful. I think maybe our best bet is to go to Metropolitan Cathedral. So we can, I believe that one is the one where you just need cards in your hand, which we can get easily enough. So that will do it for the investigation phase. No enemies to worry about. We will need to take care of this guy. Oh, after last clue is discovered, Hand of Brotherhood is ready. We place a doom on him. So we need to do that. So we're at 5 of 8. And we go to the upkeep. Roland draws his weakness, chronophobia. Ouch. That is going to delay us a turn. We're going to need to definitely take the 2 actions to get rid of that. And then we don't want to just walk over here and get creamed by this Brotherhood hand guy. So we're going to have to take a turn at the Koyakan and just sort of play it slow. Or maybe, yeah, no, we want to take that guy out for sure. And Joe draws a beat cop. Let's go to the Mythos phase. Let's see how many cards we can draw this Mythos phase. We are at 6 of 8. Our first Roland's card is going to be a Terran Time. Oh, this is bad news. Bad news. Do we have anything that can deal with that? We do not. Okay, well, we could take 3 horror, and that is about it. Well, let's see. We can take 3 is our max before we die. So let's see how we do here. We have nothing to commit to it, and we're just going to have to take this straight up. So it's 3 versus 3. Oh, we can lose actions too. Okay, that's not too bad since we could lose an action as well. So 3 versus 3. Chaos Bag says tablet. Reveal another token, and if you fail, the serpent attacks you. So we don't need to worry about that. But do we fail? Oh, -5. Oh. Ouch. Oh, that was the worst. Okay, well, we're going to lose 3 actions. And then we've got to take 2 horror. In addition, no, we have to take. Yeah, we have to lose 3 horror. Okay, so how do we do this? We can lose. Okay, so we can lose 2 action. We can lose 1 action. We can take 1 horror, and the beat cop can take a horror. And that way we can still clear chronophobia next turn. Joe draws a hand of the Brotherhood. Empty location. So we will put him. I think we were going to Metropolitan. Let's put him there. Because I believe Joe is going to head this way, and that way we can try to get rid of this guy on the way there. All right. Well, Roland's turn is going to be very easy. We're just taking 2 actions to get rid of the chronophobia before that kills us. And Joe will. We will draw a card, and we get a working the hunch. Okay, that's not going to be helpful right now. Probably won't be able to play that this turn. But he does get his 3 actions. We can move back to Zocalo. So Joe will do that. We will engage the hand of the Brotherhood. We will shoot the hand of the Brotherhood. We can unlock Joe now that we are out of that location. So we are going 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. Chaos Bag says, oh, no. This is the reason this scenario is awful, is that auto fail token, or that Elder Thing token is just awful. Just awful. Oh dear. Okay, so we fail, and we have to put a clue on Lake Xochimilco again. So we're going to have to go back there and clear it. So we moved, we shot. We have got one more shell in our gun, so let's try it again. 5 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us another tablet. Tablets mean we peek and see. Last time we did this, we drew a -5, so let's see. We get a 0. Okay, so the Hand of the Brotherhood will die. Unfortunately, that token that we the Elder Thing token placed a clue over here on Lake Xochimilco, so we're going to have to head back there before we can do anything else. And we don't have any free movement. I wish we had a shortcut in our hand, because then we could move down and then play our Working the Hunch. Well, setbacks every turn, it seems. Joe draws his second copy of Death 13, and Roland draws a Eureka. I guess Roland could go do it. Roland has an art student. Roland could just pop down there, drop his art student. And we grab that clue, and then we move on. Okay, well, we're going to the next Mythos phase. We are at 7 of 8. We will be advancing here shortly. First card Roland draws is an Etzli Guardian. Any empty location, ancient if able. It is alert and aloof. So it is going to go to Lake Xochimilco, and it will attack us. Each investigator at a connecting location. So right now, both Roland and Joe are in danger of this guy. We could kill him, although we'd need to engage, move, drop the art student for the clue. Move back. We still take a damage. I'll have to think about that one. All right, and we get... Oh, look at this. Double Etzli Guardians. So where does this guy go? Well, he only has 2 places to go. He either goes to the Temple Ruins or Metropolitan Cathedral. Can we... Okay, so I think we'll put him... if Roland moves up, engage kill. Moves down. Joe could move down to Lake Sub... Oh, we don't have the Working the Hunch anymore. That's the issue. If we had the Working the Hunch, that would be very helpful. Maybe we'll get it. Let's see. Okay, so we know what we've got. So if we draw a decent card out of the Hunch deck, we could go, if we get a Working the Hunch, Joe could go down, play Working the Hunch for free, 1-2 back over to Metropolitan, and then he would only have to worry about this Etzli Guardian attacking him. And then Roland can go up here, engage, and kill that Etzli Guardian. we wouldn't have to worry about them. Let's see what Joe gets. That really is the factor at the moment. So let's see. We get a scene of the crime. Unfortunately, that does not help us. That does not help us at all. Okay. If we go... Just trying to prevent as much damage as we can here. It's that stupid clue down there that we want to get. We need to get it to deal with that, to keep that location clear. And we are going to advance this turn. I think what we're going to do is we're going to join up here. I think Roland will go. I think, well, we've drawn Joe's thing, so we're going to draw. Now, Roland can also get that clue if he kills that Etzli Guardian. So that is certainly a possibility. Thing is, I can't remember for the life of me what happens when this flips. I'm pretty sure the Harbinger comes out and we're going to need to deal with him, and I need to be in a position to deal with him. So I think our best bet might be just to group up here at the lake and Joe... I wish Joe could get that bee cop down, but we don't have any resources. The best we could do is gain a couple, but we're not going to gain enough. I think Roland is going to move down to the lake. He'll use an action to engage the Etzli Guardian. Then we're going to try to kill it. So we are a 4, 5, 6 versus 4. Don't have anything to add. Chaos Bag gives us a tentacle. Ah, the Chaos Bag. Okay. All right. Well, we drew a tentacle, so that does not help us. Nothing we could do about that. That's just RNG for you. So he's going to take a damage this turn. I also had the shortcut I could have played, but I kind of want to save that for an emergency. I guess Roland will move down, or Joe will move down. He will investigate. Maybe not yet. Gain resource, no. Yeah, we're really missing Mylan Christopher here. Move down. We could gain 2 resources. Gain 2 resources and play the machete. Replacing the useless guns. I think we're going to do that. We know the Harbinger is coming, so we'll gain 2 resources. And then we will play our machete as our final action. All right. And the scene of the crime goes back into the deck. So that was the investigation phase. It's turn 6. Will be turn 7. We get a vicious blow for Joe. Very nice. And we get another Eureka for Roland. The Eureka does have willpower skill icons, which could be very important if we happen to draw badly during this Mythos phase, which is we are going to advance. So we are going to advance. So this guy loses his doom. He's going to trigger again because of that stupid clue. Man, I hate the Elder thing in this. So, the Harbinger is still alive. Search the collection for the Harbinger and spawn it at the location farthest from all investigators. What would that be? Okay. Probably Chapultepec Park. Because it's 2 locations away from Roland and Joe. Actually, we needed to take some damage from the Esley Guardians as well, so... Oh man, that's terrible. Not killing that Guardian really is... Yeah, so we take... So Roland takes a damage, and Joe takes 2 damage. Due to the slings and arrows thrown by these the double Esley Guardians. Well, this is quite a... And there's no resign option either. That's the worst part. I mean, you're taking trauma out of this unless you can get out of it. So we search the collection for the Harbinger. Spawn it at the farthest location, which is going to be Chapultepec Park. Now, it is connected to Coyoacan, so he is going to go here first. That's where we want to take him out, is at Coyoacan. Because we can't... Yeah, I triggered them, Lucas. I triggered all the Esley Guardians, suffered a ton of damage. If there are 6 or more tally marks, he enters play with Roland, but he does not. And he just enters play with damage equal to the amount. And we advance to Agenda 2A. The barrier is thin. Thanks to everyone who is joining us today. We, for those of you who are, who may have just tuned into the stream, we are playing The Boundary Beyond with Roland Banks and Joe Diamond, and I'm wearing this fantastic hat that I got at a Squid Fest out on the East Coast. They call it a Squid Fest, but I suspect that it has mythos. It is related to the mythos in some way. So the squid hat, unfortunately, isn't bringing me a whole lot of luck, and really it's just making my head hot. So it hasn't really helped me in this game all that much. So we are just going to advance to the myth. We just draw encounter cards. So let's see how we do here. Roland gets arrows from the trees. So we're going to take 1 damage plus 1 additional damage for each ally. Each other investigator at an ancient location must also resolve this effect. So Roland takes 1 damage. And I'm going to put 1... do I put... Yeah. So hard to say. Think we'll take it. Because that gives me 2 beat cop triggers. If necessary. And then we can... because we need to get ready to deal with this Harbinger next turn. So that was that. No other ancient locations on the table. Joe draws a window to another time. We have to shuffle an ancient location into the deck, or we add a doom. We will be adding a doom. Because we want to hang on to that ancient location with our as long as we can. All right. What are we doing? Turn 7. So we are going to deal with the Harbinger at Koyakan, but we are going to let him move there first, and then we are going to move in and take him out. Hi Jan, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it today. Yes, oh my, we have taken a beating so far. Now, did I lock? I have a feeling I probably gained a resource that I shouldn't have. Yes, I did, because Roland can't gain resources at... Oh, he can gain resources. Oh, I did that wrong. I should have had way more resources. Oh well, that was my mistake. The location text changed, and I should have been gaining resources with Joe. That's okay. We will deal with it. So Joe has... what do we do now? Joe has the Vicious Blow. Roland wants to kill the Etzli Guardian. And then we want to... Man, I hate to play that. I sort of need the art student at this point because we're so low on sanity, but by the same token, playing the art student is a waste because we're not going to get its ability. But I think at this point we're just in survival mode, so we're going to have to just do... we may just have to play the... we may just have to play the art student anyway. So Roland is going to try to kill this Etzli Guardian. He is going 6 versus 4. Chaos Bag says -1. So finally, turn too late, unfortunately. And we will gain this clue. So once again, the lake is clear, and the Brotherhood, he will trigger. Lots of stuff to keep track of. Especially it's hard when there are things triggering at locations where you don't happen to be. Let's... man, I hate playing that art student. What else do we have in our deck? We could get a Beat Cop. I'm going to draw one card. There's a Calling in Favors. Okay. Does that change the math? We can choose an ally and return it to our hand, then search the top 9s for an ally and play it. So we could get a fresh Beat Cop. I think that's too risky because we need the Beat Cop to hit the Harbinger. Oh, we need to hit him 4 bloody times too. Oh, man. We need to hit the Harbinger 4 times to get rid of him. I'm used to, obviously, as you can probably tell, I'm used to playing this solo against the Harbinger where it's like a couple whacks and he usually disappears. I think I am going to play the art student. We do have the Calling in Favors we could use to pop her back to hand if necessary later. But we don't have a lot of sanity, and we need to keep that Beat Cop on the table as long as possible to prepare for the big guy here. Now, we needed to discard the Colt 40. The Colt 911s had to go away because we've got 2 hand slots filled. Doesn't affect the game too much. Let's draw for the hunch. We get a Logical Reasoning. Okay, that's awfully nice. Play only if you have at least 1 clue. We do have a clue. And we can play it for free. So I think what we do here is we move in. Okay, so if we move... Yeah, the Harbinger is brutal. If you've got to hit him 4 times and he's got retaliate, man, oh man. And as soon as we go to Koyakan, we're gonna be attacked by this Etzli Guardian again. If we move Roland, Joe down, Joe can move up. Attack. Okay, we can still do it. So let's move Joe down. So that spares him another attack from the Etzli Guardian up here. And we can play the logical reasoning to heal 2 horror off of Roland. So he is not in as much danger as he was a minute ago. And I'd love to get a beat cop down, but I can't do that. We might as well just gain a resource, I think. No, a resource doesn't do us any good. We could use a card. Get a Pathfinder. Okay, that's... Could have used the Pathfinder much earlier in this game. Now it's going to be tough to get it down. So we're set up for next turn. We go to the enemy phase. The Harbinger is going to move over here. So we're going to have to deal with him next turn. And what do we have in terms of... man, Roland just doesn't have any combat icons he can pitch. Alright. We go to upkeep. Now he's got one. He's got a machete. And Joe draws a take the initiative. That's not helpful at all, unfortunately, unless we draw a really bad Mythos card here, which we will see. We are 3 of 5, so we're going to be advancing here shortly. We will draw Joe. Oh dear. Creeping Poison hits us. Each investigator who is poisoned takes a damage. So we all take a damage. I think the beat cop is going to take 1. And oh dear, we're like right on the cusp. Everybody is, and that's going to surge too. And there are, I think, 2 of those bloody things in there. Timeline destabilization. Test 3. This test gets +1 difficulty for each ancient location. So we're going 2. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to deal with that. We're going to get another ancient location. We can't commit that. What do we have? We can go... If we fail, we take a damage and a horror. And, well, we might as well use these Eurekas. So we will go 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag says -1. So we are going to get to draw 2 cards. 2 cards of the next 6. So that's pretty good. We're looking for cards with combat skill icons because we're going to need... Yes, both poisoned. It's terrible. It's everybody. We've got the medicine if we can get rid of it. So we draw an expedition journal and Dr. William T. Mallison. I'm going to take Mallison, I guess. It's a willpower skill icon at this point. Then we will trigger the next trigger the next copy. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got a beat cop, and overpower will do nicely. Thank you very much. Okay, so we grab ourselves an overpower. That is what we need. And we still need to draw a card for Joe. He is going to... Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, that is terrible timing. That's terrible. I cannot deal... Yeah, that's really bad because I can't kill this. Actually, oh no, I can't. Shit. Well, I could. I could kill him with the beat cop, but then I lose my beat cop. Because he's poisoned, I cannot play cards or commit to skill tests, so Roland will have to do it for him. So if we leave the Harbinger alone this turn, he will come down. He will hit us for 2 damage and 2 sanity. 2 health and 2 sanity. The art student could take the hit. Four, 5, 6 versus 3. This is tough. I think we need to just let the Harbinger come to us, because then we can gang up on him next turn. The art student and Roland can take the hit, so we just need to kill the Fang this turn. So if Roland engages the Fang, even if we need to lose the art student, we can play Dr. William T, and he'll accomplish the same thing. So we have 2 attacks. We will go 4, 5, 6 versus 3. Chaos Bag says +1. Hey, nice, 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 nice. Okay, so he takes 2 damage. Now, I do not want to lose my beat cop. Oh, this is rough. It's the retaliate that hurts. We could commit... Joe could commit a card, so we could go 7 versus 3. It's not quite enough, but... Or we play... no, we just have to kill him, I think. And Joe will commit a machete, so we're going 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says... Oh, Jesus! Oh! If you're listening, you probably know that I just drew a tentacle. So that is going to be a retaliate. Oh, again, you know, the tentacle. There's not much you can do about it, and it just happens to. Well, these two city boys aren't in the jungle. They're in Mexico City. I would expect them to be in their element, John, but they are certainly not. They are not having a good time. That is going to be a damage and a horror. Okay, we need to try to keep our allies in play. So Roland will take the damage. The art student will take the horror. Okay, so Joe is going to have to try to kill this thing now. Yeah. He will engage the... Whoops. He will engage the Fang. Man, the three combat on that Harbinger makes it tough. I could kill it with the beat cop. If I kill it with the beat cop, then I don't have a beat cop, so I'd be going 4-5 versus 5 versus 3 isn't going to be enough. I'd go 7 versus 3. That's not even enough with a -5 in the bag. Do I short-term gain or long-term gain here? We go... What can Joe do if I kill this thing with 3 actions? We could play his own beat cop. Which would put him at 6. Yeah, I think we have to do that. No, we can't, because we need the beat cop around to take the damage from the Harbinger. The beat cop and the art student need to take the hit from the Harbinger, so Joe does need to take this thing out. So he will engage it. Roland can commit a overpower, or he could commit his other machete. So he's a 4-5. 6 versus 3. Or 4-5-7 versus 3. I feel like we need to commit the overpower here, because if we draw, that Elder Thing token is still in play, that's a -4, which would be devastating, because then we'd lose the lake, which we're basically fighting to the death to keep. So we will go... Joe will attack with 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -1. Okay, so we do kill it. And Roland gets cover up. Oh, there's the first time we've drawn the... first time we've drawn his weakness this campaign, actually. So we put it into play with 3 clues, and when we would discover 1 or more clues, we may discard it. We're going to probably take a mental trauma out of this one, if not 2 mental trauma, if we don't survive. The Fang is dead, however, so that's nice. What can we do now? We have the Beat Cop. Yeah, Joe's suffering because of that lack of resources, which is I probably would have had more had I been paying attention to the location. So we could gain a resource, or do we just stack our hand? Stack our hand, I think. We don't have any weaknesses in our deck, or do we? We do. Can't remember what Joe's weakness is now. Let's draw a card. Okay, unexpected courage, good. All right. Let's gain a resource as well. Okay, so we have dealt with the Fang, but that forced us during the enemy phase to take a hit from the Harbinger. Now the Harbinger has to go engaged with Roland, and so we suffer 2 sanity. 1, 2, and 2 damage. 1, 2. Okay, so our allies took the hit for us. And now we're good. No other, that Etzli Guardian doesn't affect us. Upkeep, we draw a logical reasoning for Roland and an emergency cash for Joe. Mythos phase, we are at 4 of 5. We will draw, Roland's encounter card is a, oh no, I think that just killed us. Everybody who's poisoned takes a damage. So Roland takes a damage and dies, and Joe takes a damage and dies. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh, that was rough. I knew this was going to be a tough scenario, but I had not played it two-handed before, and this one is... I'm not sure if it's worse two-handed or worse solo. I think it's just brutal either way. It is just a very difficult scenario either way you cut it. We end up going down to a creeping poison, which we couldn't deal with. We were going to draw a Snake Scourge, which was going to... That would have surged into a Snake Scourge, which would have blanked Roland's machete, so that would have made killing the Harbinger tough. Would it have surged as well? Yes, so it would have surged into a Lost in Time, so we would have had to have shuffled a non-story asset you control into your deck. That would not have affected us. That would not have affected us, but we were dead anyway. And then Joe would have drawn another window into another time, which would have been, we would have added another Doom, which would have advanced the agenda, actually. And we would have... that's when we start swapping, and Padma comes into play. Hi, Joshua. Welcome to the stream. I believe Joshua is one of our latest patrons, so I'm glad that you could show up today, and thank you for your support of the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, Roland and Joe, Mexico City did not treat them very well. We ran into some difficulty right at the beginning of the game when we ran headlong into a Fang of Yig and a spate of very bad Chaos Bag draws. that left Roland reeling. He took a pile of damage in that in a very short span of time, and that damage is probably what cost us in the end, because then of course we have creeping poisons which surge, so there is going to be some damage. We ended up with Etzli Guardians in play, which dealt us damage. We ended up with arrows from the trees, which dealt us damage, and if Roland had been able to take out some of those enemies a lot quicker than he did, we would have been in much better shape. Unfortunately, all those little pings of damage added up, and we end up going down to defeat. So that will be, fortunately, or unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, on the bright side, that is a physical trauma for both investigators. Roland will take a physical and a mental, but I would much rather take the physical trauma than the mental, obviously, playing these two particular investigators. That's the first time cover-up has shown up, and it proves again why it is one of the worst weaknesses, as far as I'm concerned, as far as investigators go, just because it does. It really depends when you draw it, and in this particular scenario, where you have to jump through a bunch of hoops already to get clues on the table, drawing cover up is particularly painful and extremely difficult to clear, because unless you get those ancient locations on the table, you're not going to have the clues available to clear cover up. So that is the Boundary Beyond. That is a very bad. This is one of the things I really dislike about this scenario, is that you need to do well in this one in order to set up the next one, Heart of the Elders. And because we did so poorly here, Heart of the Elders has the potential to become a real slog, I find. So we end up, no resolution was reached, so it was Act 2 when the game ended, so we do gain a victory point. We did manage to deal with Joe's signature weakness this game, so we were able to... he will gain a victory point out of this. Harbinger was in play, but we didn't do anything to him. We didn't have a chance. Oh, no, we got 2 victory points. Sorry, I forgot we killed that Serpent of Tenochtitlan at the beginning. So we do get 2 VPs out of this. Harbinger's still alive. We do add 1 vengeance to our tally, because we did kill the Serpent. And that's it. But that means we will only have discovered one path for Heart of the Elder, so we are going to have to discover 5 next game. Now that game, obviously, investigation will be important, and I would hope to believe that Roland and Joe would be in a much better state. Would be in a much better position, to deal with that. But the enemies in this encounter, in these scenarios, are tough. A lot of them have 3 health, which makes it very difficult to take them down with any sort of reasonable efficiency. And the longer those enemies stick around, as we've seen, they can end up punishing you, as we saw here. I will be away on Friday, so I will not be streaming on Friday. I am also busy working on my finishing up my reviews of the player cards in the Clutches of Chaos. I'm hoping to have those out next week, so stay tuned for that. I've received lots of requests for different videos, new deck techs, a video on how to play Arkham Horror LCG on Octagon. So I am hoping to do at least one of those in August and get that set up. Just a reminder that if you are a patron, that you, at the $5 level, make sure you submit your questions to for the monthly Q&A. That will be coming up in August, the first monthly Q&A. So I hope to have a few questions to answer. And if you are not a patron and would like to support what I'm doing here, you can head over to the link in the chat, and you can pick a tier for as little as $1 a month. We want to try to hit the $100 mark in August, so we can. The plan is to get some fresh art made for the channel, and then use that art to create a custom investigator and signature cards for a Man from Leng. So that will be, we'll give that away to the community, whoever wants it. So if you'd like to get in on that, I would really appreciate it. That's going to wrap up this stream. Thanks everyone for dropping by. I hope to put up a better result, but this scenario is a doozy. So we escape with one path discovered, and 2 VPs and 1 vengeance. So and a whole boatload of trauma. So not a great showing. But Heart of the Elders. We may have to play it a few times, but we will. I think we should be able to get through it. And then we're off to the City of Archives. So we'll be picking up the streams again next week. So I hope you will tune in for that. And also just a reminder that you can always go over to my Facebook page. I often leave posts on both the Arkham Horror LCG Facebook page and my own, just letting you know when I stream. And one of the other benefits of becoming a patron is that you will receive a weekly email. I try to send one out to all the patrons, just letting them know what I'm up to for the week. So with that, I will take my leave, and I hope you guys have a great day, and will join me next time on the Whisper in Darkness for some more great Arkham Horror LCG action. Thanks for tuning in. That's going to do it for this stream. If you enjoyed what you saw today, you can make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I am also on Twitter at manfromleng. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.